Hi everybody, Rachel here, Rachthestamper.com. I had a new friend on Instagram who asked me if I could tell her what colors I used for this graveyard card that I made. So I thought I would do one better and get on here and do a live card. Now I'm not going to do this one. This is the bridge fold card. Hey Linda. This will connect it this way. However, I'm going to just do a regular card, and instead of using the basic gray, I'm going to do it in basic black. Good morning. So I have done a lot of this ahead of time, but you can also, you can make it this way. There are instructions for this card on my blog. But when I try to link this video, I'll try to link it to that as well so you know how to make the bridge fold card. But the bridge fold card is pretty easy because it does fold flat, so you can mail this card. It will fit in a regular envelope. You can fold it either way, and then it'll stand up when they pull it out no matter what. But we're just going to make a regular fold card, and I'm going to show you what I did. I had another version, but I had it out for a party, and now I can't remember what I did with it. So anyway, let me show you how to make this card today. I did a little bit of pre-cutting, and I also want to tell you, just in case, I know some people don't do Halloween at all. I think in Australia Halloween is not very big whatsoever. So if for some reason you don't do Halloween, I did a couple of these in just brick. So you could completely use, this is the graveyard gate set, you could just use these as like bricks for a garden or whatever. I did the gate on here as well, so you could, now if you wanted to, you could trim those pieces out, but I think that's a little bit excessive. So what I did is I kind of filled it in with, I filled it in with like the grass and the sky behind it, so it would like give the illusion, but you could use this. And then the other thing I did was with the gravestones, I made planters. So I just stamped them together. This one I flipped over, and then I just fussy cut them out. And when I stamped them, I stamped this, I think, in crumb cake and Cajun craze, but I did it with the markers and then huffed on them. So then you could trim these out, and then you could cut, I mean, we have so many other sets that have plants in them, so you could make plants coming out of the top instead if you wanted to. And then the same thing with this. So with this piece here, you could stamp this light post onto it. You could use this as a Christmas. I know it's Halloween, but again, whenever I get these, I always look at them before I buy them because I buy a lot of stamps. And some of them, I will admit, I don't end up using at all. But I try to see the other purpose in it because I know a lot of times people are like, oh, Halloween, forget it, I'm not even getting that. But this is really versatile, especially even the gate. And I think that's why the gate is called a detailed gate and not like the Halloween gate, because I've seen a few people make this into like the gates of heaven for a sympathy card. You could easily make this into a garden gate. I mean, it really is super versatile, but it's all, again, in what you see in it. So let me show you how to make this, and we will get going. So what I did today, this is kind of the premise of how I started this card. But then I really wasn't happy with the way I lined them up, so I went back and I did it a little bit better. So we're going to start off with, again, we're going to do this one basic black. So 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And I went ahead and cut the gate ahead of time. Mine, you can see, is a little lopsided, but again, it's a graveyard gate, so I'm not going to be too upset about it. And what you can do is you can keep it connected, but I trimmed it down the front because I thought it would look better if it was kind of lopsided. So again, that's just preference. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just take the Simply Scored, and I'm going to, or not Simply Scored, I can do the trimmer either. And I'm going to just make a score line. That way I can wrap this around the back of the card, so it'll be easy. And what we'll do is we're going to wrap it around the white part. That way it'll be hidden behind it, but you can wrap it around this if you want as well. Either way is fine. You are going to need to get yourself another panel for the inside, which I didn't do that right now. And then the other thing I did ahead of time was I pre-cut the gate lock and key out of silver foil. Now you'll notice this is really flat because when I cut these, it again is just your preference. I cut them backwards, and it kind of makes the paper a little bit more smooth. But you have to remember, if you're going to do that with any kind of an image that is one way, it's going to be opposite. So keep that in mind when you cut things backwards. But cutting things backwards through silver foil and through the glimmer paper gets you a much cleaner cut. So just piece of information there. All right, so let me move this on the side and we'll get started. So what you are going to need is a Post-it note, and you can do it with a 2-inch. Oh, hey there. Hi, Amy. Nice to see you. You could do this with a 2-inch, which is what I did the first time, but I think I'm going to just do a 1 3/4 inch moon. So you're going to need a Post-it. Make sure you have some of your sticky, and just punch that out. Oh, that one didn't work. Let's try that again. So you're going to just punch this out. Let's see how many times it takes me. Okay, thank goodness. That could have gotten awkward really fast. All right, so we're going to take this and put it kind of where you think the moon would be. Now, if you don't want the whole moon, you know, if you want it kind of to be up here in the corner so it really looks pretty realistic. Good morning, guys. You can put it up here farther. If you don't care where your moon is, you could put it in here a little bit more. You just have to remember if you're particular about this with your shadowing. So I'm not really great at shadowing, but I think I do a good job as I learn as I go along. So just keep that in mind. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our lightest color first. So I have So Saffron, and I didn't bother on this one coloring the moon in. I just left it white and I went over it with a tiny bit of Smoky Slate. So we're going to start with the So Saffron first. And you want to make sure, because this happens to me a lot, that you have clean sponges. I have one that's specifically for the black because I can't seem to ever get that one to get unblack. So make sure your sponges are clean, or otherwise, which I've done before, I'll end up with doing something and then it has green in it. So you just rinse these out in the sink when you're done. And if you really notice they're dirty, you could add a little bit of soap, but just make sure you really rinse them. So your Post-it circle is down, and you're just going to very lightly go around. Oop, see, there you go. Go around the edge. It's still on there. I'm not going to do that over. Just around the edge. Just kind of like so. And remember, so your moon is glowing down. So you want, if you're going to have a little behind it, that's fine. But you want to have a little bit more where it's glowing. All right, so we'll have enough with that. That was So Saffron. That's kind of about the lightest mute yellow. Daffodil Delight is light, but it's a little too yellow, if that makes sense. And then we're going to go with a little bit of crushed curry. And again, light with this because you don't want this to be like a huge bright moon. So just kind of come off before you come on, if that makes sense. This is a little darker than I wanted, but what we'll do is we'll lighten it up with the Smoky Slate afterwards. So if this is too much yellow for you, just stick with the So Saffron. You know, it's your card, so you got to make it what you want it. All right, so enough of the crushed curry. That got a little bit out of control. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stick with the top. I'm not going to do any of the gravestones yet, okay? So that's why I kind of stopped where I was. So now we're going to go in just with a little bit of the Smoky Slate. And this one we're not going to swirl. We're going to just kind of dab till you get kind of like that. I was kind of going for like a foggy kind of cloud look, if that makes sense. I don't know. I have a very vivid imagination. So when I think about graveyards, I imagine they're going to all be creepy, except if it's during the day. Let's hope anyway. So just kind of go in and swirl around. I really wouldn't still do anything with black yet because it's very hard to erase it, and you're going to probably find yourself starting over. Okay, so we'll leave that like that for now. Now I am going to leave the gray open, and I'm also going to open the black. Okay, so the way I did this was I did this one first, and as you can see, everything's like not lining up right, and that just does not look good to me. So I started again. And what I did was, hang on one second, this is being weird. I don't think that's hitting my volume. I'm sorry, I want to just adjust that. Okay, sorry about that. So the way this looked, it didn't look good to me. It looked like a kid did it and it was all backwards. So I went back and I decided I was going to do all the Smoky Slate ones first. And then I'd go back and do the black ones. That way the layering would look good. And again, I'm probably the only person that notices that, but you know, when you make your own cards, you're very critical of yourself. Oh boy, enjoy, yeah, my video. Thank you. Hey Linda, thanks for joining. I appreciate it. All right, so I have all three of these out, and again, it's up to you. You don't want to use them all, you don't have to, but we're gonna see what we come up with. Get with that one. So I have Smoky Slate. You could probably use basic gray if you wanted to. I mean, it's up to you. And a lot of times what I'll do first is when I stamp one, so I'm gonna put like a taller one in the background. I'm going to stamp it just to see how dark it is first. So let me just scoot this up a little bit. So I want to see what it looks like first, and then I'll stamp it. That way I can tell if it's going to be too dark or not. So because this is a little more yellow than I'd like, I'm going to put it full strength. So we'll just put a couple of them, again, just moving them around. It's got a little smudge. And the same with the smaller one. Because you want to try when you make your cards to make them with a little bit of like a depth of field, just like you would if you're doing a photograph. So it's not all right there at you. So that's why I try to use the different, you know, colors and whatnot. All right, so that's going to be enough of the gray. So I'm going to just close this so I don't make a mess. And I'm sure we'll get it back out again. So now you're going to go in with the black. But again, what you want to do is you want to put your tallest, highest, darkest things, if you're doing it that way, in the back. So you'll just stamp this again and see how, so this is going to be pretty dark. And again, if you don't like it, you know, you may not like something the first time you do it. That happens to me quite often, believe me. It is kind of the way it works, that you'll do something and then the next time you'll do it, you'll be like, you know what, I really did not like that this time, and change it up. That's the beauty of paper. If you have a whole pack of it, you can make a million cards. Alright, so again, just adding these kind of in random. Alright, now the other thing you can do, and I forgot to tell you this in the beginning, so let me go back and do that. The other thing you can do if you want, before you even get started, or you can do it after the fact, it's really not going to ruin it, is you can make yourself kind of a horizon. So you'll take one of your blender pens and then you'll just kind of fill this in back here if you wanted to do that. And you can even do it after the fact, just so, I don't know, I feel like, you know, when I'm doing these, I'm like making an artistic composition. I think that's the way I just feel about my cards, so that could just be me. So just give yourself like a little ground, so to speak, that these are sitting on. And it doesn't really have to be so much for these in the front, because we can fill them in with something. Okay, so just do the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back again with my gray, and I'm going to kind of just go in and fill in a little bit of this space, just so it kind of, if you have like some mucky stuff, it covers it up. Or if you're not really like super happy with how it looks. And you can do it up top again, because it'll kind of just add to that like misty fog kind of look. Okay, now before we finish this up, I'm going to tell you to do this part now, because it does take a little bit to dry. So let me move all these out of the way. So I have found that I have gone through quite a lot of blender pens, so I try to keep one separate. What you want to do is you want to use a blender pen and only use it for your white, because you can really never get it uninked. Yeah, it does give it a lot of depth. I really like that. I appreciate that. I think it's a little darker than I wanted, but we'll see what it looks like when it's done. So you want to have a white blender pen. You could mark it in some way if you wanted to, or else you could just test it ahead of time. But what you want to do is you want to do this now, because it's going to take a little bit to dry. But essentially what you do is you're going to pick up some white ink, and then what I kind of did is I just decided what was going to be my light side. So I just went over all the pieces to give like that moon glitz to the side. And I even did it on the little gray ones, because they technically, you know, if you look at a graveyard at night and you happen to like shine your car lights over it, if you've ever done that when you were young and stupid and in high school or whatever, you know, they all do have a little bit of a glow to them, even the really far away ones. So you can add as much as you'd like, wherever you like, but it kind of finishes, I think it finishes up the thing just a little bit. And the white definitely does dry a little bit lighter, so if you find like later on you don't think it's white enough, you can always go back and add a little bit to it, but I think that's pretty good for now. So again, this really doesn't come clean, so you want to make sure that you keep this as a separate one, okay? And let's close this up. And then one final thing you can do if you want, and I I probably do tend to do this more because I really think it finishes a card. Is you can go back if you want either in the gray or the black and just kind of sponge the edges, because especially with it being a Halloween card, it just gives it a little bit more creepy feel. From Indiana, late as usual. That's okay, Vivian, better late than never. Plus on Facebook, you can always watch it again later. There was I did do some stuff in the beginning where I had like some different versions if you're not really a Halloween person. So all right, so that's good enough as it is. And now what we're going to do is we'll take this off and see if it's too bright. If I didn't mess that up too badly, that's actually not so bad. So if you want, you can take your sponge that you did and just kind of go over the moon just to, so it has that like kind of moon cratery feel. So one other thing I always use a lot too, if I find that I really don't like a card, I either sponge it and or add Wink of Stella. So this will kind of give a little bit of that like shimmer. This one might be empty. No, that's good enough. A little shimmer to the moon. And then you can also kind of go back and do it here as well. So just be gentle with your white, because the white takes a long time to dry. So just beware, if you're going to do these, you might want to do them kind of in a process and let the white sit and dry. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this on the side just for a second, and I'm going to grab, what did I do with it? My trimmer. And I'm going to just use the scoring blade. And you can do this backwards because, well, see, technically mine is a little cut off, so it's going to be like a eyeballed version. But you want to just give it a little line there so you can wrap it around. Same on this side. And again, we're going to snip this in the middle, so it's not like as imperative that it's exactly even. And that one might need a little more so it stays on the card. And if you don't want to do it this way, I'm going to tell you one other way you can do it, but you're going to have to do that after the fact. So I'm going to do, this one is really good. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one, fold it, and I'm going to just run over it with the bone folder. If you don't want to do it now this way, what you can do is you can snip, and then again, this just takes a little bit more patience. You can wrap it around so it's more like this one, so it's kind of crookedy. That makes sense. Oh, Vivian, you and I must be twins. I love Halloween too. I really like such a close running with Christmas. I love Christmas. I don't know why. I just really, really, really love Halloween. I always have. So what you're going to do is you're going to wrap it around, okay? But if you want your gates to be crooked, then what you could do is you can wait to do this and then wrap it around after you do it. So I'm going to just take my scissors. I got them out so I wouldn't hit the camera. And I'm going to just snip this right up the middle. Just like that. And one other thing I forgot to stamp, and you know what? I'm going to just do it on a little scrap piece real quick, because I thought this like totally made it, but it fell off of that one. Let me just do this real quick so I don't forget. So open if you dare. I'm going to just stamp this in basic black, and then I'm going to kind of hand trim it and just rough it up a little bit. And you could put this on with like a piece of twine if you wanted to. I'm going to leave that there for 1 second. So this one I just kind of like hand trimmed it. Hello. Good morning. Don't worry. You can catch it on the replay if you're late. That's what I usually do anyway. And a lot of times I watch things 27 times just because I like crafting. All right, where is here's my black sponge. So I'm going to just, before I sponge, I'm going to use my bone folder and kind of just rough the edge of this up. You can do it with your fingernail if you want. All right, and just kind of, you know, it's supposed to be old looking and creepy. So, and then I just sponge the edge. Okay. All right, so you have your little sign here. What I'm going to say that I'm going to do is I am going to hook this around the back of this, so that way it kind of keeps it off of here. So I'm going to hook this on, and I'm going to do it down at the bottom. This probably is going to smudge, so take a good look at it. Make sure you take pictures and you love it. So you can preserve this for later, because I guarantee that white's going to smush it up a little bit. Okay, so let me flip this, and then what I'm going to do is I know probably everybody hates fast fuse because it's so hard to use, and I felt the same way, but I love it now. It works for me so much better than snail. So when you're doing your fast fuse, just remember you don't need to push as much as you do. So that's like a big thing. So be super gentle, and then just pull it to the side. And I find if you pull it to each side, it kind of keeps it in the middle, and if not, you'll end up with like this little goopy thing, and you just have to roll it past there. So like slide your nail and scoot it. But I'm not gonna lie, I went through an entire thing of fast fuse before I actually learned how to use it the correct way. So, oh, I love the graveyard too. The graveyard, but again, if you don't like graveyards, you could do it as like a, the Gates of Heaven was a really cool one. A garden gate would be pretty. But I love Halloween, so it's gonna be a graveyard for me until maybe after Christmas. It could even be like the gates to the North Pole. I mean, that would be super cool too. So again, you don't want to put this see, if you want to put it like crooked, like this one's already crooked because of the way I cut it, so I'm going to put this one straight. But if you want to put one on there crooked like this, you know, you could have it like that, and then what you would do is just, you wouldn't score it, you would just wait to fold it around, and you could just hand fold it around. So I'm going to slide this one in. I know that fast fuse is something. I would say other words, but there's a little one next to me in the other room, and I don't want to curse on the internet. I do that enough in real life as it is. Okay, so there you go. So that's what it's going to kind of look like, and it's going to be open because you want it to be open, that way people can see the grave part of it. Got it? So, the gate, yeah. That's a really good one, the wedding invitation. You could use it as that. There's so many different things. You just have to look at it and just don't think. When you look at like stuff that where you're like, what would you do with this? Just don't think about what section it's in. Because I saw a really cool one the other day. I can't remember what it was. I even made a note in my book. But I was like, that would go genius with that. And they had like 2 things that I'm telling you had absolutely nothing to, I think one was a mermaid. Whatever it is, I'll try to make that card soon. Because I thought, oh my gosh, I don't even know how it came to me. It was like probably in a dream, because I dream about stamping before I fall asleep at night. Isn't that ridiculous? I love stamping. Okay, let's see if I can make this without ruining it. Alright, so just some fast fuse here on the back. And fast fuse is super sticky, so you have to make sure where it is going to be is where you want it. And then we'll stick that onto the front panel. Just like that. And I'm going to add in my key. What did I do with it here? So here's what I did with this one. When I ran this one through the first time from Michigan. Hey, Della. I have some relatives in Michigan, as a matter of fact. So I broke this. So I kind of just covered it up with this. Now, you can hang this on like any one of these little things here is a good idea. Just put a glue dot on the back. And then what I did is I just put the key in the thing. But I kind of put it in like it was broken. Because I just thought that would be more fun. Dream about stamping. I know, isn't that sad? I even do it when I'm like at my real job, which one of my coworkers is on here, and she knows I do it anyway. But oh my gosh, I have a problem. I'm a stamping addict. We think we need to have Stampers Anonymous, but really, who's gonna quit? I'm not. All right, so I'm gonna just put a glue dot. You can kind of like wad it up if you want, and put it on here, on that, and then I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna put one on the key. Spooky gate. Exactly. A spooky gate can be broken. Of course, spooky gates are always broken. Even when they're not supposed to be. Alright, now I'm going to put one on the back of the key. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the key in the lock and kind of stick it to that. And then I'm going to just find a spot to stick this on here and put it kind of like that. And it will be a little tacky on the back, but honestly, your card's probably not going to stay closed, so it doesn't really make a difference anyway. Wow, lots of Michigans today. Hi, Michigan. All right, and then you have your sign. So if you wanted to, you could put some, God, I just had it here a second ago because I made a card with it yesterday. You could put like some thick black baker's twine on the back of this if you wanted. You can make like a little string and you could hang it on the front. Or the other thing I did is I just kind of weaved it in here because I thought it gave it like a more authentic, you're not supposed to be going in this graveyard look, that somebody just at the last second put a sign on there that said open if you dare. So the lock and the key come with the detailed gate, so it's part of this. So you can use this little piece if you wanted to make like an outline of your gate, and then this is your detailed gate, but the lock and the key come with it. And you can get all this in the online store, rachthestamper.stampinup.net. It's open 24/7. You can shop at midnight, 3 a.m. in your pajamas and your ball gown with your wine or your coffee or iced tea or ice cream or whatever it may be. But anyway, this is in the Halloween section of the holiday catalog. So in case you're looking for it in like the Christmas or wedding section, you're not going to find it. It kind of coordinates with this graveyard gate. This is another one. But again, just to show guys that came in late, you could use this and make like a garden, just a pillar. You can make a garden pillar. Had a couple other things here, but you know me, I seem to have misplaced them. I don't know where they are, but I made a little plant holder out of this and a regular garden gate, so it doesn't have to be Halloween. Lots of stuff that you can do with it. So this, let me see if I can get this cleared out of the way so you can get a better clean picture of this. I'm going to have to take off my scrap. So this is what it looks like. Now if you like your gates closed, you could put some Irma evacuee. Well, I'm glad. I hope you like this stamping. I made a beautiful card yesterday with the flamingo set, Brenda, and it made me think of all of the Florida people, and I'm sending all my love to you guys. I think about you all the time. I hope you're doing well, and you must be doing okay if you're watching from Florida. You either have escaped or you have some internet or cell backup service. But I think this is fun. I love Halloween. Halloween is like one of my favorite things, and it will, you know, this is a regular card. It will stand up. You're going to definitely have to put something on the inside because it's black. But how about that? And if you want, you could also make it with the gatefold. And again, this does fit. So both of those stand up just like that. You could do it with gray if you wanted to. Man, I wish I could find that other one. I swear. Let me just look really quick. Another one, and I don't know what the heck I did with it. I don't know. I'm sure I'll find it as soon as this is over, because that's usually the way I roll. After I hit end, I'll find everything that it was that I was looking for. So if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to shoot me an email. I will say that I have a friend on Instagram who asked me how to make this, how to do the colors, and I thought, well, instead of writing her back, how about if I just make a video? I thought it'd be easier. So thanks to all you guys who joined in. I appreciate it. You can find lots more ideas at rachthestamper.com, and I have Facebook, I have Instagram, I have YouTube, so I'd appreciate a follow from you guys on that if you'd like. You can find me on all of those platforms at Rachthestamper. And again, let me just show you this, what it looks like when it's closed. A teeny bit live. Yeah, hey Anka. Oh my goodness, you caught me. I'm not hanging up yet. And then, you know, got to add a little bit of the white spookies in there. So this is a great card. There are a lot of really great Halloween sets. This is another super fun one I made with the Brush Your Fang set. I made some make your own. Whoops, well, he's not supposed to be on there. Make your own DSP. That's like one of my favorite things to do. And then I colored all these guys in. Add a little bell with the top. This is a really fun one. I want to make one of these for my my friend who's a hygienist. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to incorporate this, but I want to make her this so she can hang it in her office. I think that would be hilarious. Well, anyway, guys, thanks again for stopping by. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, you can shoot me an email at rachthestamper@gmail.com. And if you need a catalog, holiday catalog or annual or otherwise, all you have to do is send your full mailing address, first name, last name. Make sure you include your zip code. A lot of times people forget that, to rachthestamper@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to send you one out for free. So, guys, I hope you appreciated this. I think it was so much fun. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day.